Really a pleasure to welcome our Dr. Devesh Bathla, Center Director and Professor, Business Analytics, Chitkara University. Dr. Devesh Bathla holds a doctorate in management. He has a vast experience in the field of business analytics and is passionate about corporate training and academia. He is the key member in the board of studies at many leading institutions. He has also published two reputed books with an international publishing house at Germany. He is an highly experienced in corporate tools from leaders, SAS, IBM, Microsoft, Salesforce, Tableau in the areas of data mining, data quality, and data visualization. He has given analytical solutions to global clients from diverse domains of IT, BFSI, healthcare, edtech, and many more. He has collaborated with various partners such as BCG, SAS, IBM on CLM projects. He has created web courses on statistics, business analytics for professional, consumed for online learning globally. He is highly experienced in project and team management, strategic planning, and budget management. He is expertised in customer lifecycle management, product management, and channel sales. He has also directed timely execution of marketing strategies, product launches, and new advertising campaigns. It is really a great honor to have such a remarkable person with us today. Now, I would like to request our resource person, Dr. Bathla, to take over the session. Over to you, sir.
Uh, Thank you, Dr. Sahab and Rajamohan ji and Kanimoji ma'am for giving me this opportunity, Dr. Anant Kumar. So first of all, I am extremely thankful to IFET College of Engineering, Department of Computer Science and Engineering for giving this opportunity. And it was indeed, something when you were speaking, sir, I thought it's my entire career that you have submitted. It's the entire days and nights and the midnight toils that you have submitted in 5 minutes. And I'm very humbled that I'm not that great the way you have praised. I am a simple learner and a teacher by passion. So first of all, I want to welcome all the respected participants who are here, and to my understanding, and correct me if the understanding is not right, most of them are teachers. So since being a teacher, and to tell you personally, coming from a teacher family, mother being a teacher, lecturer, and a principal now, grandfather being a teacher, then a principal. So kind of teaching being in the DNA and blood. So a teacher born and bred, I have always been a great advocate for teachers. Before we go ahead, I want to again, pay my sincere regards to all the respected teachers and respected participants who are there. And before moving ahead, I want to share my screen with you. And this is something I want to say to all of you. So to my mind, teachers hold a great position in individual's life. And this Doha by Kabirji says it all. All of us are well versed with the Doha that says, Guru Gobind Dong Khade, Kaku Lage Pae, Balihari Guru Apne, Jin Gobind Diyo Bataye. So these are the teachers who tell people, who tell their disciple and students the way to reach the God. So to my mind, I sincerely wish you a very good morning, and my heartiest, sincere and deepest core of the heart vouch for teachers who support people in their journey of life, not just professionally, but personally, at an individual level, at a societal level. Also, as it say in various Jainism and Buddhism, that the term guru, the first word in this Doha, gu stands for darkness. That may be in the individual's mind before individual starts taking knowledge and wisdom. And ru means removing darkness. So it's a small word. It can be further bifurcated as gu being the darkness and ru means removing darkness. So I am really touched when I speak with the teachers. I feel really honored, and at times I feel God has been very kind to give this opportunity to interact with the teachers, even at this stage of life. I also want to pray to God that Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva Maheshwara, Guru Deva Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Guru Deva Namaha. So all the teachers, I sincerely want to wish my heartfelt thanks to all of you for being here. And again, my biggest thanks goes to IFET, CSC department and AICTE who are sponsoring this event. So thank you all of you for being here. Before we start, I think we have more than 5 dozens of people. I mean, it's a huge community, 60 plus participants, more participants joining in. Each teacher is, a path breaker or somebody to show life to hundreds and thousands of students. In my short span of teaching career, since I have joined teaching not many years ago, I mean, I would say I am the latest 2020 model in teaching. So again, one of the 2020 product, barring COVID, which has been a very negative product for all of us. So I've spent more than a decade in corporate, where I have trained many people, many senior people as part of the SaaS trainer. I have worked on products and I have also worked on various tools. And again, God was very kind to give some international opportunities. And again, I would say the biggest kripa was from Ma Saraswati that helped me teach the students during the entire phase of my career. I was very passionate about teacher. So I used to say that I am an industry professional by profession and a teacher by passion. So I'm very passionate when it comes to teaching, and trust me, it is my calling. So again, taking my calling from here, we would start the topic, which is data visualization. And before we move on to data visualization, I want to touch upon a topic called business analytics or data mining. When I speak to a lot of people, they say that data mining is a new thing. It has just come in. It is not, something that has been there. So for those, I want to show you a picture, and it would be kind if somebody from anyone can unmute or probably speak about what is it. So I want to show something which is here. Just give me a moment. I think the stop sharing. I want to share my screen and I will take you to the desktop. Just give me a moment. Should not take. Yeah. So this is the picture, and I'm sure people would be able to see. So what, according to you, anyone can suggest or use the chat box, what according to you, this visualization is depicting? So just to tell the history of, the data crunching and mining.
The Samudra Manthan.
Very nice. So since it is Samudra Manthan and just one picture, however, it is a very big episode which is being there in the various mythologies. It is there in the Bhagavad Purana. It is there in the Mahabharata. It is also there in the Vishnu Purana. And it explains the origin of Amrit, which is the nectar of immortality. So this one picture, one visualization, one diagram, one graph is almost telling everything. What is happening, what way are the surs, where are the asurs, who is sitting atop, who brought everything, what were the outputs if we talk about. So these are the outputs which are there, what is happening. So just one picture, one visualization is explaining it all. So one of the very popular episode and a long episode. I mean, you could see people are bleeding here. You could see people are happy here. You could see the Ramba, Lakshmis, and Dhanvantri who came up with the pot. So everything in just one picture. It may take or might have taken me 1,000 words to tell everything, but it took just one picture that is worth 1,000 words. That is the power of visualization. Now, there would have been many pictures. I would have taken a scenery, I would have taken a bird, to tell what is it, I would have taken an albatross or an eagle, but why did I take this picture? We are working on data crunching and data mining. So this is also the crunching of the ocean. This is also the crunching of the water in the ocean to get a lot of insights. I will start from here to tell you that, when the Samudra Manthan happened, so it was like a big data repository. Like Samudra has a lot of information. Samudra has, water, aquatic animals, aquatic plants. It has pebbles. It has a lot of species and 100,000 things which are beyond our imaginations live inside the ocean. So is the data. When we look at the data, trust me, it looks like a samudra. But when it comes to teachers, Dalai Lama, the word is ocean of wisdom. When it comes to teacher, we as teachers are somebody who possess this skill. You as teacher participants who are there, everyone out of you can help people solve their life by telling them how to do this Samudra Manthan. During this process of Samudra Manthan or data crunching, because I'm a teacher of data analytics, business analytics, data science, words may be numerous, but it is an ocean that has a lot of information. I will be sending a data set for you during the session, or maybe at 1 p.m. towards the end of the session. Your job would be to look at that ocean. However, I would be giving a small piece of that ocean and try to get information from it. May I also request each one of you to download Tableau. To download Tableau, the link will be shared by the organizers. I've shared the link. It is free trial for 14 days. You can try it and we will practice it during the second half of the session. But we were on Samudra Manthan. It is also like data crunching, equivalent. Just think that Samudra has a lot of information, data has a lot of insights. Crunching happened where Surs, Asurs were involved, and in the organizations, crunching happened when marketing, sales, operation, and IT team and logistics team all are there, but the commonality is this Samudra, which is the data. Now, there are a lot of legends in this. Indras, who is the CEO. So I'm not just saying that it is there, but trust, Samudra Manthan is the oldest depiction of data mining that I could think of. There may be more, but I also have my limited bandwidth. So I could think that what is the oldest thing in business analytics or data analytics that could do. Now, what happened? When in organizations you are given the same data set, different type of people, different type of youngsters, different type of experienced workers are working on the same data set. Now, their job is to get insights. Why? Because organizations want to make informed business decisions. The word is informed. Informed business decisions so that they can take further steps or basis those decisions to make profit. Similarly, in Samudra Manthan as well, there were animals that appeared. Similarly, in data set, there are supernatural insights that come up. In Samudra Manthan, Kamadhenu came up, Eratra came up, and other things. But what are the most valuable insights that person be looking for would be Shankar, which is Vishnu's conch. Similarly, in organization, consumer information from the data. Similarly, umbrella taken by Varuna was part of the Samudra Manthan. In the organizations, the offers that are being given to the customers possess the same property to stop the excess of rain. So I have worked with organizations, and I come from a place that is very close to, mythology. I come from a place called Kurukshetra. It is the land of Bhagavad Gita, and it is also the land of Mahabharata. So, somewhere or the other, my heart goes out for mythology, and that's how I tend to bore people. But again, I also understand that we being Indians have learned a lot of these things. Yeah, Amrit Manthan have learned a lot of these things during our childhood, and you would not be surprised during the lockdown that Ramayana was one of the most popular shows, I would say, that came on the national TV. So somewhere or the other, you can you can connect with the audience using this mythology. So as a teacher, talking to a teacher, I would suggest that a transferable skill should be tried to be given to the participant. So that was my tip. You may like it, and you may not like it, but yeah, now so Bhaktimay session is what we are looking for. But trust me, the Bhakti channel has now ended. We are now moving from Astha to BBC, and here we go. And I would start with data visualization. And as we started that, data visual. So why I did it? Because people think that analytics is a tough subject. Analytics is very tough. I mean, there are coders who, there are coders who can do it. One has to be a great coder. Until unless one is a great coder, one cannot do it. And that's how people perceive that it is there. They may be correct to a certain extent, but trust, to my mind, there are other properties which are there. One of them could be storytelling. Now, what is storytelling? We will start from here. So this is my PPT I want to share. Trust me, I won't bore you. So this is what my effort would be. So this is the basic visual analytics using Tableau. Some would say that Tableau, I think, is a tool that must be learned. But how? I, used to train people during SAS, and I used to tell that one thing, that SAS is not an alternate of human brain. This is where I start with. Tableau is not an alternative of human brain. It is your brain who decides that if the output given as part of the visual analytics makes me happy, suffices my need, and is good for the audience, or can be used to make decisions. Now, we will go, but since this session is aimed at basic visual analytics, our job during this session is not to use a tool as of now. We would be using it when the session restarts at 2 p.m. And I would sincerely request, as a teacher, you should practice and do hands-on when I give you time to practice. Otherwise, it would be like a movie that I would present. You may like it, not like it, give your reviews, may even give 1 star, but end of the day, won't be able to do once you go back. You won't be able to train students when you enter the class. You won't be able to do once you do the research part of it, because when you were looking at it, you found it interesting, happy, exciting, or maybe you were enjoying or having a cup of tea or maybe food. But I would request to practice during the next session and pay attention during the ongoing session. Now, what is visual analytics? So if we start with data, data could be in this form. There are a lot of numbers. However, this is very unorganized and raw form. But if I tell you to spot a number, say 9. Can you count the number of 9s in this chart? You would say, yes, why can't I? What would you do? You would start from here and say, okay, now there are no 9s, now there are no 9s. Okay, now there are, so this is 1 9, which I can do, okay. So it takes time somehow. But again, 5 to 10 minutes. the basic of visualization is aimed at minimizing the time of the viewer. The picture has to speak louder than these 1,000 words. If I do this, spot. Number 9, very quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and this is the number 10. There are 10 nines. We could do it in 10 seconds, but how could we do it? The person who was presenting, which is Devesh here, made a change in the color and made it visual. Remember the word visual. Visual analytics, or made it more visually comfortable for the viewers to see this. You could easily do. A small variation in the color is also basics of visual analytics. What is visual analytics? Exactly what is it? Somebody would say, making a graph from a number like these trend lines is a basic of visual analytics. They may be right, but what if making a small table is also visual analytics? To my mind, huge data sets, big data sets can be presented in two forms: A table and B graphs. A table and B graphs. Tables are also visual analytics. However, in Tableau, it is essentially the graphs that are being there. It is the visual analytics algorithms which have been updated, and that's how Tableau became popular. Now, this is definition by Andy Kirk. One would say, okay, Devesh, this is what you think, but do you have some facts and figures? So we, being researchers, are in habit of literature review and mentioning the name of the person who has suggested it. Andy Kirk, who is the author of Data Visualization, a successful design process, suggests it is the representation and presentation of data that exploits our visual perception abilities in order to amplify cognition. Ability and amplify cognition. That is what we did with the chart that had a lot of numbers. Moving ahead, let's look at some data. This may be some data that is being given. Say these are 4 classes. Say BTech, since it is a CSC department, BTech year 1, year 2, year 3, and year 4. X is the marks in theory and Y being the marks in practical. For the first one, say year 1, students got these many marks in the theory and these many marks in the practical. Similarly, for year 2, theory and practical. Now, this was the data. However, it is presented in the form of a table, but does not excites me because I am not able to draw inferences. The final objective is to draw inferences and get informed business decision. Now, this summary, mean of X, variance of X, mean of Y, variance of Y, at least tells me some information about it. Some information can be obtained by virtue of these data points. But is it what this training program has been arranged for? No. Then what is it? Let us see. Some data, the hero is visually. What is visually? So visually is something that is pleasing to the eyes. Just by looking at the photograph, one can understand a lot of information. But yes, the graphs have to be clear. The gaps here is that The legends are not clear. What is that information? What is x-axis? What is y-axis? But yes, I had seen a table, so I could correlate that these were the marks that were given in certain point in time, maybe theory and practical, but still there is more to it. Let's learn. Agenda of this session is to have a human perception and cognition. Cognitive abilities are going to be our hero that we will touch during this session. Visual analysis cycle. What is the cycle? So most of us have taught or read about product life cycle, introduction, growth, maturity, decline. We have made graphs for them. For fashion, we have made a sine wave. So small things, when represented in the form of a graph, have a better and higher human perception and cognitive ability. And remember that BCG matrix became very popular because of those 4 squares. Remember the Johari window? 4 squares, I do not know, others know. Something or the other is running in our mind that has a higher preference for a figure than a number. Human perception and cognition. The perception at times is a very, very controversial word. So there's a book on positioning. The book is by Ulrich and Jack Trout, The Battle of Human Mind. Their perception comes. And in that book, if we refer to, so according to John Lindsay, it says the perception is the reality in politics. But here, we would be fighting on human perception as it is there in an industry or maybe academia, when that person or individual or human sees a figure. We will be learning that. Now, humans are slow at mental math. If I give you to multiply it, this is the standard way one multiplies it. 68, and that's the standard way we have learned. Then what is it? Time to multiply in seconds. So if we use a pen and paper, time to multiply is lesser. Had I asked you to multiply 34 into 72, unless you are a human computer, you would have taken more time. There are some tricks, backers, etc. But what if the number were even more confusing? So we would be learning that how time to multiply is reduced. That's where the tableau also come, and time to do things became even lesser, and the visualization became wider. We will learn how does it work. So it says we are faster when we can see data. Again, the word see has been given here. If I tell you to Spotify places where, for example, these were the profits that have been there. If I tell you to Spotify the losses that have been incurred by the organization, what would you do? You would look for these negative signs, these negative signs, these negative signs, and how many of those would be? You could spot 4 together, but when it comes to here, then you have to minutely look for each of the sign, right? If you have to see, then you have to minutely look for each of the sign. But what if by a small action at my end, I can impress my audience? There you go. If I make the color red, the hero is the word see here. If I make the color red, or like Excel, I put the things in brackets, it represents, it's a negative notation. So we are faster when we can see data. So whenever you get an assignment, try to spot outliers with a different color so that individuals can quickly spot, see, and learn visually. When it comes to a graph, if I take you back, exactly same things. 63, this. You remember these four words: 63, 93, 16, 6, and 76. Immediately better represented. So what we are saying and repeating, that if we are learning Tableau, it makes life better from step 1 to step 2 and automatically present step 3. So step 3 is something that is being built in Tableau or many tools like Tableau, say Power BI, Alteryx, etc. But the larger objective is C data. That's where we are. Profits may have been represented by green, but darker the color, see, darker the color and larger the length is representing larger profits. Dark colors. It automatically happens in Tableau, and you must have learned Tableau prior. You might have learned during this workshop or as part of your self-learning, but that's what the objective would be. We do not want to tell you that step 1, say better has step 2, say better has step 3. We want to teach you to immediately reach on step 3. How will you do it? Now, these are the various pre-attentive visual attributes that, remember I was saying that the color and the size means more profit here, but length, immediately we can spot. Width, orientation, curvature, size, larger profits, shapes, different, spatial grouping. So standard deviation is generally represented by means of the dots, and larger it is the distance from the mean, larger is the standard deviation. So that's how we teach students. And color, intensity. So these are the small things that you as researchers, as teachers would be further explaining to your audience and maybe delivering. And I also want to tell you that this presentation will be shared with each one of you so that you can use this presentation at any point in time in life, or maybe use it as part of the lecture or as a reference point. Now, visual interruptions. So the words are very close: interpretation and interruptions. Visual interruptions make people slow. If the picture is not very high definition, it is a big no. No, I sincerely do not advise you to paste low definition pictures during your presentations. The picture is not to be presented 5 minutes extra. 5 minutes extra on the system, exactly this picture can be obtained as a higher resolution, but do not use bad pictures or low, I would say, resolution pictures, so that the visual interruptions are slow. Again, we do not know whether this person is trying to climb or coming from here because of the visual interruptions. So as teachers, as researchers, it is our job one to have better images when it comes to visualization. Even if you have created a graph in a particular tool and you are pasting as part of the presentation, I would request you, advise you from my career or my experience or my learning or as a learner, that high definition pictures are only welcome. Now, I suggested you for the cycle of visual analysis. Cycle. Like I mentioned that introduction, growth, maturity, decline, visual analysis also has a cycle. In this episode, you would see a lot of snapshots obtained from Tableau. See, various stages. It starts from, generally we learned about the product development life cycle, like need identification. In the cycle of visual analytics, you start with the task. It also brings me to one of the 7 habits by Stephen Covey. It says, begin with the end in mind. Trust me, I have learned it a hard way, but you begin with the end in mind and then create a graph. Otherwise, graphs would be created, but they will not take to a decision. The tip is to begin with the end in mind, and that is what your task would be. One of my CEO at Reckitt Benckiser used to say, and we used to, quote him at a lot of times, that every time he used to ask us one question: what are you trying to solve for? These days, he is the CEO of, again, a very renowned telecom operator, Vodafone, and heads the Bangalore region. His name is Arvind Nevatia, and we still admire him for the learning that he has given us, that what are you trying to solve for? Whenever you are stuck, whenever you see a lot of figures and you have to pick one, do not look for the best figure, but look for something that solves the purpose. What are you trying to solve for? Then you start collecting data. Then you find structure. Then you get the data view. Then you develop insights, and then you act and share. But the cycle has to be like this. I want you to see this if you want to. Don't mind. We move ahead. Supporting the cycle. Now, supporting the cycle says, do not put too much of things on the platter in one go. Imagine you have reached a restaurant and you have ordered a lot of things, and the staff brings everything in one go. They fill your tables with starters, with main course, with desserts, and then, maybe buy the pan and the green tea that you have after the food, and also give the bill upfront. How would you feel? Really bad. The visualization of the table is making you upset. Then the tip is, you also do not try to bring everything on the first slide itself.
ஹலோ
Yes, ma'am.
அதான் மேம்கிட்ட கால் பண்ணி கேட்டேன். மேம் இது வந்து ஃபைனலா இது கேட்டேன்.
I'm sorry, I could not get it.
No, sir, just was an interruption. You please continue, sir.
Okay, thank you. Good to have some background music in that case. So, and it's confidence that people are listening to me. So, supporting the cycle. Supporting the cycle means, imagine you are presenting the dishes made by you, and you are the owner of the restaurant, and presenting it to the CEO, senior management. Maybe you are defending your final viva during your research, or your students are further explaining things to their managers. So what would you do? So I take a pause here and tell you that the organization that I work for has been given a job opportunity has been given a job opportunity on behalf of an organization, and their mail says, if I will read that mail, I don't want to name the organization, but their mail, I would read their mail, and just give me a moment. Their mail says, so I'm just telling the real world thing, that before the interview round, we would like the students to do a quick assignment. Please ask the student to choose one of the following products. Products are, say, Salesforce, Stack, G Suite, Freshdesk, Lead Square. Students may prepare a small presentation. So this is the mail I am reading for you. Students may prepare a small presentation as if showcasing their product to a prospective client. The presentation may have information like features of the product, what are the manual processes product is replacing, immediate impact and scope, next steps for product implementation, and how to go on board for different user groups. So the point of sharing is that they are expecting students of MBA to tell a story to them, present their dishes to them in an orderly manner where they have specified that this is what we would like to eat. A good student would be one who would do it incrementally. Start with the small thing, then increase it, and then further increase it. There is a famous quote that says, do not be a big fish in a small pond immediately, or do not be a small fish in a big pond in the beginning. The right process is be a big fish in a pond, then gradually try to increase the size of the pond and grow with it. So point being, whenever it comes to visualization, do not show that I have done a great work. Do not show that, see, the first slide says it all. Try to peel the onion layers. The onion layers. Peel the first layer, that is the waste layer. Or maybe the starting layer that shows the agenda. Incremental. Allow people to easily and incrementally change the data and how they are looking at it. Easily. There is no hurry. Expressive. There is no single view for all tasks and data. Do not try to eat breakfast, lunch, dinner at one go. Easy. Otherwise, your stomach will be upset. Unified. Leverage the revolutionary changes in the database technology. This is where Tableau will help you, and make the tool disappear. Do not show that I have created this graph using Tableau. Tableau was used for this process. They are not interested. Make the tool disappear. Share your story. This would be step one. If you can see my pointer, this would be step one. When you will click here, these details would be coming up. When you will further click, these details would be coming up. For example, this is the data point where, however, these are the months represented, but for ease of calculation, see, this is something that has happened in the month of, say, July. Since we are in August, so July was like this. And if someone asks you, do you have the data of last 4 months? Well, I will click here. So this would be July, this would be June, this would be May, and this is going to be April. What if the person asks you, can you show me this data point for last 4 years? Do not make a lot of things out here. Try to use this style. So this is what I have brought here, and this is the data of last line. So I'm just giving you a hypothetical example. Otherwise, these may be the sales that have happened this month. This was the sale that happened, last year, same month. This is the sale that happened previous month before. This is the sale that happened. So yellow can be compared with the previous year. Red this year versus last year. And similarly, If you have to plot 4 years, then put 2 more blocks here. 1 here and 1 here. That's how you can tell 16 data points, but the logic being change the data easily and incrementally. There is no single view. Sir, I will tell you one by one. I will peel the onion layers one by one. There is no hurry at all. Then they would be pleased by the presentation. Visualization best practices. So trust, these best practices are not something that one can tell upfront. So, I have a joke here as well. So someone was writing a research paper, and generally these organizations or the publishers or the journals ask for abstract. So one person I know was preparing abstract first. So I told him that abstract is the nectar. Where is the fruit? The person said, sir, let me just prepare the juice and I will prepare the fruit accordingly. I said, generally, abstract is the sar. For example, again from mythology, Gita has a Gita sar. And there are people who may attempt to write a sar first and then write the entire Bhagavad Gita, or it can go for anything. So I thought that it should be written at the end, not the beginning. However, there are people who would say, no, but this is something that, that you have to decide, and something that, but it has to be, the visualization best practices is something that is being given as part of the SAR that, that has been learned and is being shared with you. It is not that best practices were written first and then we will learn. But here I am sharing best practices from my experience, or maybe experience of many colleagues of mine, and put it as a SAR for you. SAR is the summary. So SAR is a Hindi word, and it is a summary from those hardships that have been done. So representing data for humans, granular details have been captured here. Granular. Representing data for humans. End of the day, we are presenting for humans. Color. What color should be picked? Ironically, when I started visualization, I generally had an opinion that, okay, I would have a red, amber, and green. It is called a RAG tracker. RAG. So it's called a RAG tracker. Red means losses, and green means profit, and amber means normal. So generally, it's a very popular term that we use in corporate and academia as well, RAG tracker. So, but representing data for humans, significance of color, maps which are there, and creating dashboards. So this is the third and the final session of this session 1. And see, you can say that movie has started after the interval. And those who have missed the first part and maybe have joined late, if they focus here, they would learn a lot of things. Types of data. Generally, 2 broad classification, qualitative and quantitative. Qualitative would further have nominal, ordinal, and quantitative is numbers. Now, what is it? I tell students that anything that you can put a mathematical formula. Say, you can come up with mean, you can come up with medians, you can come up with standard deviations, etc. Lot of formulas that you can say, or numbers, 1, 2, 21, 20, or easily mathematics. Anything that you see has mathematics is quantitative. Anything that you see has English would be qualitative. What is the formula that we can put on the qualitative data? Maybe count. Can we do a sum of the metal that is being there? Maybe gold, silver, bronze. Can we come up with their average? I don't think so. But can we come up with the weight of the students? Yes. Can we further calculate derived variables from weight and height? Yes. Body mass index. But can we create with the color of the hair and maybe the color of the skin, an average color of a person? No. So that is where the types of data. Some people say, measures and dimensions. So in Tableau, quantitative would be measures because we can measure it, and qualitative would be dimension, because it is a dimension or a property. So that's how various people have various viewpoints. I may not be able to see the chat window because I have switched on the full screen. In case there's anything, I would request the organizers, they can stop me and start from there. Moving ahead, how do humans like their data? How does a CEO likes his data? How does the chancellor of a university, since I'm doing a project for my own university and other campuses as well, how would a vice chancellor like to see the data? If I put it straight, how would NAC wants to see the data? How does NIRF sees the data? How would any grading agency like to see the data? We will learn. Quantitative, again, we have discussed it. Position, length, size, color, intensity. Not color, intensity. Ordinal, position, size, color. Again, categorical. We will learn during the course, but this is something I understand that all of us are aware. Now, what is more important to less important? One can always challenge it, because see, I am not Peter Drucker who says about strategy is the blueprint that organization make. I'm not even Peter Drucker who says if you do not know where to go, no plan is required. Or see, I am something that someone who has worked on these tools and just sharing my thoughts with you. So could be challenged easily. But more important is position when it comes to visualization, color, size, and then shape. How would that be? If I want to see the marks of the students, the best is to put them in the descending order, the position. The position is something that I would say, okay, these are the students on the top, these are on the bottom, these are the middle students. Maybe the position. Who has scored top 3? 1, 2, 3. Color. There is an option of conditional formatting. If I have got 1,000 students, and if I start doing 80 to 90% are green, then there is a light green, then there is an amber, and below 40 there is red, it may not be that impressive. But the position is unique for every student. Size. I may use it as the bubble. I have got 1,000 students at my campus, and their scores are given sizes. Smaller the bubble, smaller the size, not very important. Shape. Top are given triangle, then are given square, not that exciting. So position, being position, has the highest position, then color, then size and shape. This is my experience. This may be completely wrong. You can take it, and trust me, I have used it for, as they say, donkey years, and this has helped me. How do humans like their data? Time on x-axis, location on map, maybe the location of London buses. That is something, that can happen. But time on x-axis. Remember the cricket match. How do they plot their overs? Remember their overs. First over, second over, third over, 50 overs. Scores, y-axis. How does the graph goes like as a line graph? Remember those? The tall buildings of the sixes and the fours hidden by Sachin and Sehwag and Virat Kohli's. The bar graphs. The overs on the bottom. Maybe the time during the day. This was the number of students in the class. Early morning, no. During the peak hours, a lot of students, maybe online. During night, less students online. How does organization use it? During my experience with telecom operators, so we use it for calculating peak hours. Peak hours, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. What was the intent? The intent was to launch a pack, a rate cutter pack or a low tariff pack for off-peak hours, because during the off-peak hours, my network is free. What we did? We created this kind of graphs, calculated off-peak hours, and made a cut here and launched night calling packs, active between 10 p.m. and 8 a.m. So small insights in the form of visualization can help to compare values. See, the bar graphs are comparing values, scatter plots, tree maps. You would remember the Delhi Metro cab. So whenever you visit a Delhi Metro, so this is how the yellow line, orange line, red lines. But since they've used the color red, the point to be noted is the intensity of the color, the darkness, the strength of the color. So that is what can help us. What are the busy routes? Very easy. That's how you can learn. Now, how do humans like their data? They orient data. The visualizers, you people, the participants of this session, orient data so people can read it easily. Orientation. Remember your house, we have shifted to a new house, and so why this example came to my mind, I shifted the house on 1st of this month. Everything that I was possessing in my older house came to the new house packed like a data. It came packed like a data. And since females have stronger strength, so this example would be better correlated. And again, from a personal experience, as my wife had a stronger sense, so she was arranging data point in the house in the form of a graph so that the person who enters the house or sees the graph takes a better imagery or interpretation. If I, Devesh, was given an opportunity to organize the house, I would have organized it like this, the left one. But when the task was given to my wife, or who was a better person in the data visualization, she used exactly same data, but like this. What is the difference? If you have to read this figure 6.1, either you turn your neck like this or like this, or you try to twist the graph. The other person was a better visualizer. They could step into the shoes of the viewer and see that this is going to be a problem situation. If I give a task to say, to read the name of this person, it is going to be very tough. Fielder Prince, but how do I do it? Like this or twist the graph? On the contrary, if I jump here, easily read the name, easily take the information. What is the difference? Just the thought process. Tableau could have given you this feedback because we have learned type of graph, bar graph, line graph. That's how we start with bar graphs. Tableau also learned with bar graph. Tableau could have easily given this graph, but we as human brain know that this is not something that is going to please the eyes of the person or the visualizer. We would use this one. This is better. Just keep in mind. Color me impressed. Color perception is not relative. Can you tell which one is different? But I, as not a great visualizer, made the same background. I tried to create red graphs, light red, dark red graphs on a pink background. This is how it would look. But as a visualizer, there's an option of this. Easily distinguish. The background is immediately going. That's how things are going to be there in your upcoming sessions. Provide a consistent background. Small things will create a big difference. I was reading a quote by Steve Jobs this morning. Steve Jobs had said that it takes a lot of hard work. Friends, it takes a lot of hard work to create simple things. You would say that, it was an AICTE, STTP, and, these are the things that could have happened, but small things made it a great difference. A small iPod created a revolution. An iPhone, simple iPhone. Steve Jobs also said, our products are equally beautiful inside as they are outside. If you tend to open your MacBook or phone one day out of curiosity, you would find things are very better aligned. Being an electronics engineer, I can vouch for this. Now, human can only distinguish approximately to 8 colors. Count the number of colors, these are numerous. See, every state has been given a color and lot of colors. So this is a Tableau output. This is an output by a Tableau. But is it helpful? Is Tableau an alternative to God? Is anything given by Tableau is as good as written in Bible? No. We as humans have to change it because we as humans created Tableau. Tableau did not create us. Maybe the example could be related to any tool that you use. I've worked on IBM Watson, MMFA, Cognos by IBM. By SAS, I've worked on EG, eMiner, Customer Intelligence Studio, Marketing Optimizer, Real-Time Decision Maker, and whatnot, NBOs, NBAs, and whatnot. Similarly, worked on Salesforce, Tableau. None of them are alternate to human beings. It is we who have to guide them. This is helpful. Again, an output by Tableau, but see, representation, jumbo box, jumbo drum, this color. Do not use more than 8 colors. One would say, isme kya naya hai? This to we always knew. But once we start relying on tools, we forget this. So do not forget, this is forever. For data, color intensity and diverging color palettes work well. Diverging color palettes. You would, trust me, you would create this during the second half, but we have to learn. Again, a snapshot from Tableau. Darker the color green, more is the profit. How would you know? Refer here. Lesser, see, from red to green, bifurcation has been made. If the color is neutral, you can say there is no profit or it is neutral. The color is dark green, automatically opted by the system, huge profit. The color is red, you can say it is a loss or very less profit. And the style that they have opted is not a standard bar graph, but this is what they have opted. Sum of sales is the column and the subcategory is what you would be working on these data sets. But what is the message here? Color intensity. The intensity of the color and diverging color palettes. I don't want to mix it as of now that these are 2-dimensional, 3-dimensionals, but yes, bring it to your mind that the color intensity and diverging color palettes are also helpful. Mapping to insights. Use maps when the location is relevant. Our entire second session is an explanation of this slide. Maps are used when location is relevant. COVID cases, an example. Location is relevant. They tell you to turn on your location. They tell you to turn on Bluetooth on Arogya Setu app. They're very helpful. Food for thought. This is what you will create. I don't want to mix it, but on a graph of a country, USA, we have plotted figures and profits. The basis is longitude and latitude. A clearer picture. Field maps won't work for multiple measures. Again, an output of Tableau won't work for multiple measures, for single measure, and you as my respected participants would experience it. Again, the message I wanted to give you in the beginning and have been giving throughout, do not use maps just because you can. Do not use map. Do not eat extra during the weddings or parties just because you can. Eventually, it is you who will have to bear for it. We say that food was of your friend, but tummy is yours. Do not use extra. You will be unnecessarily filling up the PPTs, and trust me, can you create any difference here? No, these are all same. Then why to use it? We would look for something else. Maps don't have to be geographic, since the entire session is geographic, but we will learn. But you would remember when we used to watch cricket matches and Steve McGraw used to bowl. So these are the kind of interpretation, all his balls bowled by him would be at a particular spot. The commentators used to say that if you put a handkerchief on the pitch, he would bowl all the deliveries on that handkerchief. So, but how could we see it on our TVs at home? Using visualizations, using these spots. And it has a lot to do with sports analytics. There's a different module, that's a different topic. It takes many hours, but here they don't have to be geographic on how we will learn in the second half. Because this is something which is presenting something else. Because this is average speed where we do not have to use geographic, we will also learn it. Again, the scores by a cricketer or the scores by a baseball player. Remember the wagon wheel, the AB de Villiers 360 degrees. So this is how it is not geographic, but how it is presenting is more important. Dashboards bring together multiple views. We will learn how a dashboards, you also have a module on dashboards as part of this training program. So you would learn how dashboards bring together multiple views, but the message is on one slide, in one page, on a printout, different graphs. A normal graph that we have been working on. Then there's a pattern of peak days and peak hours. Remember, we just spoke about peak hours. 0 to 24 hours, days of the week, and months of a year. Everything. Step 1, step 2, step 3. Dashboard should pass 5-second test. What is this 5-second test? You can learn, and this is again food for thought. What is a 5-second test? 5-second test is again the most important view. Okay, kuch tips that I want to share with you. Human brains read top to top left, so they start. So the biggest thing that you want to put is here. That is why the description is there. I would never see this thing. So Australia, I would never have a look at maybe. So I would start from here and then start gazing through here. So a tip to you is put positive things that you want to show is here. So as they say, first there are liars, and then there are big liars, and then there are data visualizers. So they may be liars, so because they decide what is that they want to show. So legends go near their view. So these are few tips. Then avoid using multiple color schemes on a single dashboards, and then use 5 or fewer. So there's no hard and fast rule, just a tip from my side. Use your words, titles, X's, key facts. So these are all to be mentioned. Tool tips, remove extra digits is what if I take a minute here, I could have put decimals here, 96.97, 101.44, 94.43. Imagine the situation of this graph. Too much numbers, numbers, numbers. But the session is aimed at visualization. We are not interested in numbers. We have to be a figure person. We have to be an image person. Help people understand through seeing their data. So we just as visualizer, help people see and understand their data. That is the objective of this entire process. So, I want to rest my voice here. I just want to rest it and I want to stop sharing the screen. We are open for thoughts. We are open for discussions. I have tried to be disciplined in part of the time because being teachers, we rarely admire time and we generally stick to the time. So we can have thoughts, comments, feedbacks, questions, your points during the next 10 minutes with the permission of the organizers.
Thank you so much, sir, for such a spiritual and eye-opening session on visual analytics. So I request the participants to post your questions over this session. Participants, please shoot out your questions.
Also, you can ask on their behalf in case anyone wants to see. And for everyone's understanding, we have, just to bring everyone on the same page, an attachment has been shared with you. So the attachment is the PPT and you can use it. And so there is a data set that I want to share with my respective participants out here. So can I share it straight away?
So you can share it.
Okay. So the data.
Sir, there is a question from Dr. G. Arun Kumar. He has a question over here. What is the level of prediction in table?
Okay. Okay. So can we unmute Dr. Arun so that we can discuss with him?
Sir, Dr. Arun, please unmute yourself.
Hello, Dr. Arun. Can you hear me?
The voice is audible?
Yes, sir. The voice is audible. Welcome.
Yes, sir, you're audible now.
Glad to hear you, sir.
Yeah, sir. That was a nice session. You showed so much of graphs.
Thank you, sir. And
the thing, what is the level of prediction in a Tableau, sir?
So, level of prediction, as in, do you think? Can we predict using Tableau?
Yes, exactly.
Predict, then what is that? You think that would be the accuracy?
Actually, from this graph, what you're showing, it's just showing the what is the data it's conveying.
Right, sir.
But with this, we can make a conclusion, or Tableau will give you some predictions.
So, generally, see, if I before moving on to Tableau, I will just tell you about a tool called SAS. SAS is again happens to be the world leader in analytics, and while I've worked with SAS, so my experience has been generally organizations.
You are muted, sir. You are muted.
not give everything in one tool or one window. So kind of a cross-selling opportunity. So while they have designed Tableau, they have designed with an intent of getting, say, creating pictures from a data, if we can simply take it. Creating pictures from a data. Pictures could be in the form of a dashboard, a story, a graphical visualization. So it is essentially a visualization tool. When I worked with SAS, so SAS had 14 different tools. SAS had 14 different tools. So one of the tool was SAS Enterprise Guide that was used to use prediction in to club with Enterprise Miner. So these two tools had those, decision tree algorithm and all those random forest algorithms, etc., that were used for prediction. The p-values, etc., used to come. But there was a different tool for dashboards of one organization, and they used to sell different licenses for that. That was Customer Intelligence Studio, CI Studio. So there you can get insights, information. So generally, organizations intentionally do not give everything. To the best of my knowledge, what I have used Tableau is for a specific purpose, is to get insights of the existing data, or you can say descriptive analytics. So maybe there are three definitions of analytics. So one is the predictive analytics. So the other one is it starts with descriptive, predictive, and prescriptive. So generally, Tableau is being used as part of the descriptive analytics only. To my consumption, and maybe to the consumption of people who have been using it, descriptive analytics, not the predictive part of it. As far as the predictive analytics goes, I haven't personally used. I haven't used it for prediction purpose. I'm not sure how others use, but I haven't used it, sir.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you.
Right. So, but there are many other tools for predictions. There are many other tools that we generally use. So MMFA is one such tool that we use, and from IBM. But sir, I haven't used Tableau. And sir, if you would see that the topic which is there, so data visualization tool.
Okay.
This is the visualization tool. To my knowledge, I have not even tested its accuracy. So until unless I've tested it, I would not recommend that one can do. So mostly descriptive analytics only. Okay, so Vidisha Sarkar has suggested that sports analytics, and you want to know the sources, institution or tools used. So Vidisha, I would like to share that institutions do not come to my mind. See, every institution would claim that they can teach you. There are many institutions, I don't want to name any particular institute that claim, but these are all aggregators. Aggregators would aggregate, presentations and speakers and organizations from one place and claim that they teach. However, there are no proven records that if ESPN or Star Sports or Hotstar wants to recruit, then they go to the particular organization and recruit, or it's a best in institute, India or something. So I am not very confident, and trust me, I do not even want to name any institute here. There are institutions, they may be training it, but I cannot, advocate for them. However, if you are saying tools, so generally there are various tools that are common for various industries. So if you talk about industry application, one tool, for example, SAS, is being used by sports, is being used by MOSPI, which is Ministry of Statistical, is being used by education, is being used by IT industry, but how they use it is different. So it is just the style or the onboarding or the tweaking, but there are various, for example, Tableau. If we take example of Tableau, it is being used by sports organization, and to validate it, you open sports page of any newspaper of your choice of any given day, the maximum repetitions that you would see is the graphs in every newspaper. How would they create graphs? They would use Tableau. Tableau is one such example. There are 100 tools like Tableau, but Tableau has some strength, Tableau has some qualities, and Tableau has proven its mettle and being bought by Salesforce, which also stamps its significance and also is the reason for choosing as part of this training program or STTP. So multiple tools can be used. It's just the application or the modification. For example, we have atta or flour which is there at home. It can be used to prepare various dishes. You can prepare parathas, you can prepare chapatis, or maybe you modify it a little, add something else, prepare uttapam, dosa, or maybe the medas, etc. But the tool being used is the same. Just the application, slight modification, and the thought process that makes the change. Tools are generally same. Thank you, Bidisha.
Any other questions from the participants?
Thank you.
So let's conclude the session. Thank you so much, David sir, for such a wonderful experience. We got a question over here.
Talking about SAS programming, would you tell me which would be the more statistics purpose? So SAS programming, see Anshul from Graphic Era Hill University, I think Graphic Era is in Dehradun.
Yes, sir.
So yeah. So SAS programming is one of the applications.
Sir, I want to know. Yes, sir.
Yes, Anshul, I think you were speaking.
Sir, which programming should I use most as I'm a student of third year? Which programming should I rely on, R or SAS?
See, Anshul, so are you a student? So I would fondly
Yes.
call you Anshul. So Anshul, there are two school of thoughts, and this goes for everyone. There are organizations who want to train their students on all the tools. They would tell them something of R, something of Python, something of SAS. The programming is base SAS. The name is base SAS. So I've learned base SAS as well. So they would train their students on everything, but jack of all trades and master of none. Anshul, to you and to my dear students who are listening and to respected faculty members, if you can learn any one language that you think, it's good enough. You should know it to the fullest, because tell me, what are the number of jobs you are looking for? One. So why don't try for a job where you have a leading edge or cutting edge or cut above the rest when you go to the interview? Otherwise, you would appear in all the interviews that require SAS, base SAS, and Python and R and the 100,000 language, but you are not able to answer properly to any one of the interviewer. But if you know one language very well and you apply for that and you know it the best, then I think your job would be done. Anshul, as far as you want to learn programming, I would recommend that, base SAS has a very, I would not say limited scope, but diverse scope. You would find few SAS organization in one place, but it's a global thing. So you will not find that kind of traction in the beginning. But since Python has become very popular these days, and during my recent FDP at IMA, which is All India Management Association for SAS FDP, we recommended people to learn on behalf of SAS. We recommended people to learn Python. So
Sir, as a student, so there is compulsory to learn all the coding, and it's impossible for a student.
no,
Learn.
that is the requirement of the campus, not of the Constitution of India. So if the campus is asking you to learn everything, you learn it. But you learn it during the later phase. Maybe 9 to 5, you learn what is the requirement of the campus. But from evening 5 to 9, nobody stops you. Then you can get to mastery.
As a company asks for a student to learn programmer, should they select by taking the knowledge of a student of a particular programming?
See, Anshul, I'll be very candid here. And so when I had interviewed people, I mean, it's a very common phrase as well. I generally evaluated student on 3 parameters: knowledge, skills, and attitude. So I would be evaluating a student on knowledge, skill, and attitude. I would appreciate student has a great knowledge. Skill set is something I would be interested. But the biggest thing is the attitude to learn, openness to learn. If you are open to learn, you have shown initiative, you have done some industry projects, we would be really excited to hire you, or somebody would be really excited. But trust me, there's nothing that stops you working after campus hours. And in these unprecedented times, I think you will have to put in more effort.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
So yeah, and there are a few more questions. And see, cost of the licenses for Tableau, Naksenji, I may not be in the position. Tableau would be a better person. And from so Kalai Chelvi, I may not be pronouncing your name correctly, but can Tableau be integrated with Python? I request you to join the next session, and we will see how it can be integrated. If it can be integrated, yes or no. I am leaving it here. I can answer it immediately, but I want you, when you will open Python, you will be getting the answer to it. Or sorry, you will be opening Tableau, you will get the answer to it. And if we still do not get the answer, we will answer in the next half. What are the different data sets that can be integrated with Tableau? We will learn it. And you would yourself tell me, or yourself, this all can be integrated, right? So someone can also ask, can SQL be integrated? Can Excel be integrated? Can Amazon Web Services can be integrated? You yourself will answer your question. That has to be the beauty of this training program. Thank you, Anshul. And thank you, everyone. I had tried to do justice to your time since you have put in a lot of effort here. But I think we are set for the lunch. The time is 1:07. And with the, I would request the organizers to please take up from here.
Okay. Thank you, Devesh sir, for such a wonderful presentation. Thank you so much. Dear participants, let us lunch, and I request you to by 2 p.m. The feedback is posted. I request everyone to within 15 minutes that the feedback is available. Okay. Kindly join the rejoin the session by 1 p.m. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Data file has been shared. Ajay Singh ji. The data is on Superstore dataset, 1253. I would again resend it, but you can download from here. I would again resend for your comfort. Just give me a moment. I just saw. I was clicking the logout button, but I just saw your text. This should be there. All right, thank you. I have shared it with you, and you can download it from here.
The next session will resemble at 2 p.m. I kindly request all the participants to join by 1:50 p.m. Thank you.